You ever wonder how Claude Code decides what it's actually allowed to touch on your machine? Here's the thing, it's not a chatbot that happens to have shell access. Think of it like a supervised apprentice. It has to propose every single action and wait for a nod before it touches anything. No swarm of agents secretly coordinating. No hidden memory database quietly remembering your whole code base. Just one loop running over and over. So, what's actually inside that loop? That's what we're tearing open. Here's the actual sequence. First, it gathers context, system prompt, tool definitions, your whole conversation history, and stuffs it into a fixed token budget, around 200,000 tokens. Then it calls the model, which reasons and proposes one tool call. That request hits a layered permission system, not one flat yes or no gate, but rules checked against an allow list you control. Approved? The tool runs directly on your file system, no sandbox. Then, and this is the part people miss, it doesn't just stop. It checks whether the result actually answered the prompt. If not, back to the top of the loop. So why not sandbox it? Why not run this thing in a Docker container, isolated, safe? Because Anthropic made a deliberate trade. Simplicity over isolation. No virtual machine, no cloud sandbox. It reads and writes your actual file system directly. That's the constraint that forces the permission system to exist at all. If the runtime itself won't isolate you, every single edit and shell command has to stop and ask first. By default, checked against an allow list you define. That's not a safety feature bolted on afterward. It's the only thing standing between supervised apprentice and unsupervised intern with root. So given that trade-off, what are your actual dials here? Three real options. Default mode asks before every edit and every shell command. Safest, slowest. Auto accept edits skips confirmation on file changes but still stops you before running commands. Good middle ground. Plan mode though, that's the interesting one. It restricts the model to read-only tools entirely, compiling a full plan before touching anything. None of these are more agent or less agent. They are the same loop, same permission system, just different thresholds for how much you trust this run. If I were evolving this today, I wouldn't add more tools, I'd cut them. Anthropic's own team deletes code with every model release. They pulled roughly half the system prompt after Claude 4.0 shipped because a smarter model needed less scaffolding, not more. That's the actual lesson. Don't bolt on a second agent or a memory layer. Spawn the runtime itself as a subprocess, multiple isolated instances, each with its own permissions and working directory. One writes the code, another reviews it. Same loop, same apprentice, just running twice, checking its own work. So here's what to actually do with this. Open your settings.json tonight and look at your allow list. Most people never touch it, then wonder why they're clicking approve 50 times a day. Tune it once, deliberately. Then try running two instances side by side, one implementing, one reviewing, each with its own permissions. That's the real unlock here, not a fancier prompt. Remember the apprentice? The goal isn't to stop supervising it. It's to supervise it well enough that you'd hand it the keys again tomorrow.